time for Cigar Talk, the fastest growing cigar show in the nation. Whether you're a new cigar enthusiast or a cigar aficionado, we have something for everyone, bringing you the best interviews, cigar reviews, and weekly giveaways. So grab yourself a cigar.
It's time to light 'em up.
Welcome back to Cigar Talk. I'm your host, Rob Jones. We got Bryant Falconer in the studio, our co-host extraordinaire. How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm doing good.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Welcome back.
You had a great trip.
Bruh.
So we'll talk about that after we get through telling everybody what we're smoking, what we're drinking, but I'm going to let you go first.
What I'm smoking? I am smoking the Bellas
Arteros.
Yes, AJ Fernandez blend. This is... As always.
And that's the Habano.
Yes, as always. Can you see it?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Tilt it down so we don't have that glare. There you go. And just so everybody knows, I'm smoking the same thing.
It was a gift from Rob.
Jay is doing our camera work, and he's smoking the same thing. The only difference is we don't have shades on.
No, we're not looking that cool.
We don't look that cool
right now.
If I had shades on,
he over there looking like Johnny Bravo right now. Hey.
And then I'm drinking the Buffalo Trace.
I finished off the Woodford Reserve.
You know, I handed that to Jay, and I was like, hey, if you want to, you can kill that. And he was like, oh, no, that's Bryant's jam. We'll save it for him. You see how considerate.
I appreciate that, Jay, because if it was Rob, it would have been dry.
It would have been dry. It would have been like, hey, kill that bottle. You know what? I hate seeing a bottle that looks like it's waiting to be killed.
Yeah. I'm glad you didn't kill it. Jay,
you know why I didn't kill it?
Bro?
Because where I had it, I couldn't see it, and I forgot it was there until Jay came over.
I'm going to leave that alone.
It's like, oh, we have Woodford Reserve. So, anyway, I'm drinking the Buffalo Trace. That was a gift to the studio from Mr. Z-Man Zeka, one of our Patreons. And let's talk about that for a minute. We want to say thank you to every one of you guys.
Last one of them.
I mean, you guys,
each and every last one.
We just, your family.
Yes.
Thank you for the support.
Yes.
We really do appreciate it. And if you'd like to become a Patreon member, there's all different tiers.
Yes.
And depending on what tier you do, you can hear our behind the scenes pre-show or after show or the show that we really don't want anybody to hear.
But we made it.
But we make it for the Patreons. And so anyway, look in the show notes. We have that down there. So anyway, let's talk a minute about you've been out of town.
Bruh.
You went like Midwest.
Yeah.
Like Texas, like people may think we're not Midwest.
No, the South.
Like up there when you just see grain.
You see green everywhere instead of brown.
Was there a lot of grain
everywhere
in the fields?
Yes. It was I left here, went through Oklahoma, still brown, hit Kansas. That's when it turned green. But something happened to me in Kansas. I'm going to let you know this.
What happened in Kansas?
I'm going down 35. I'm doing 80 miles an hour.
Speed limit 75.
75. I'm chilling. I happen to look up, and it's this black vehicle sitting in the middle of the highway, perpendicular to the highway. And I'm like,
in the middle?
Yeah.
In the median?
Yeah. It wasn't a median. It was grass. And I'm like, why is that vehicle in the grass?
Well, that's a median.
Yeah, they call it that, but we call it the grass. Anyway. Okay. I get close and I'm like, oh, that's a state trooper. So I slow down. As I'm slowing down, I see he starts to come out. I was like, yeah, he got me. So I start pulling over. I got over in the right lane because I was passing cars. I got over in the right lane and I started to get over and he got out. And Jay, Rob and Jay, I want y'all to understand this. I was in my pickup, my GMC Sierra, Texas edition, hefty. All I heard was,
he took off.
And my truck shook.
Oh, somebody else drove by.
No, he went by. In that it was a Dodge Challenger.
So you weren't his intended.
No.
That's always a good feeling.
I sped up because I slowed down to 75. I sped up to 80 and I started counting. It's the thing we did when I was a traffic officer. I got to 1,006. This dude was a mile ahead of me. I'm like.
So he's doing about 100.
140.
140.
When you do the equation and you do the translation, that's more like between 140 and 145. I'm like, what is Dodge putting in Challengers now? I mean, he disappeared. I get 2 miles down the road, he had pulled over an Infiniti G30 something coupe.
Oh, wow.
He walked it.
So did that dude pass you?
No, I never saw that dude.
That's what I'm saying.
So that dude was he was trying to get over, but it was too many cars, and I was in the passing lane passing up cars at 80, so I thought he was going to get me. So he waited till I got past him and started getting over, and then I'm telling you, all I
Oh, so he was probably going this way.
And then turned around to go get him. I'm like,
I'm still surprised you didn't see that guy pass you, though.
Dude, I would have seen him.
Right.
This dude was way ahead of me, and he was trying to wait. So that means he walked that car down. I was like, I need to know what Dodge is putting in these challenges now, man.
The RT Hemi.
They putting everything in there.
Dude, and the Challenger.
Dude, that's what it was with the Challenger.
Well, and the Charger, too.
Yeah.
And a truck.
But see, the Durango, because I called my stepson down in Killeen, because he's an MP. And I told him about it. He said, yeah. He said, Dad, DPS getting ready to get rid of the Tahoes and the Explorers. I'm like, what they going to do? He said, Durangos. I said, hell yeah, if they put what they got in that Challenger in there.
I couldn't imagine having a motor like that in a Durango.
You look at it, they already got it.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
I just sat there and I was crazy. Like, I can't believe
you saw her putting the Hellcat in a minivan.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
I drove a Charger as a police officer. I couldn't have caught that Challenger. I'm serious. That thing, when I say it went by me and it shook my truck, I was like, what the hell? And all I heard, roar. I'm like, and it growled at me when I was like, nah, that ain't cool, man.
Yeah.
That ain't cool.
Well, you didn't get a ticket.
Oh, no. No. I'm so thankful. But it was just.
So I want to know, you left Abilene heading up that way.
Yes, sir.
Where did you stay the night?
When I got to Nebraska.
You drove all the way.
Yeah, I drive further to go home.
To St. Louis?
Yeah. It's 13 hours to go to St. Louis. It's 11:20 something to go to Lincoln, Nebraska.
Dude, for an old man. That's a drive,
dude. I'm used to it.
Man, let me tell you,
keep forgetting I was in a patrol car for 12 hours.
How many cigars did you smoke between Abilene and Nebraska?
I only smoked 2 a day. I made sure.
Are you serious?
I took 23 sticks with me. When I got there, though, I smoked like a chimney. But when I was on the highway, it was just 2 sticks.
Dude,
You said you got that backwards. I got that backwards. No, it was only 2 sticks, man.
Man, when I'm driving, I love smoking cigars. Yeah. I got music going. Yeah. I got scenery to look at. I do too. Yeah, I take my time.
And see, that's the thing with me. I like looking at stuff. Going back to when I worked on the railroad. You know, on the railroad, you see stuff that people don't see on the road.
Sure.
And it gets you to looking at
You get a point of view.
Yes,
yeah.
That's totally different. And when I'm going somewhere that I've never been before, that's what I do. I pay attention to everything around me.
You like to take it in.
I do.
I do too. I love road trips for that reason.
Yes.
And the last road trip I went to Lubbock. I went up to see Tim and my brothers. Anyway, we went and smoked at the Gaslight.
Gotcha.
Great trip.
Gotcha.
But dude, it's only 3 hours up there, 3 hours back. When I got back, I was whooped.
Dude, I got there. It was actually I got there. I chilled with my son for a minute, and then I went to the hotel. And then the next day I got up at 8:00. Me and him got together. We went and got haircuts, and then
you look nice.
Yeah, we had the baby with us, so
you were looking a little woolly.
That's another thing. We get to the barbershop, and my son took off his do-rag. I said, "Dude, you look like a terrorist." He's like, "What you mean?" I said, "Dude, with that bushy beard and that hair," I'm like, I wouldn't walk into an airport with you right now.
That's how I feel about Big Adam.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Brian was looking that same way. That big bushy beard and this big old curly hair. I was like, yeah, you got to sit there. Matter of fact, you go first. You go first. And while he was in the chair, I got to change a diaper for the first time in 2 decades.
Not your own.
No, my granddaughter's.
That's awesome.
2 decades. I'm sitting there playing with her.
I don't know saying I got to.
Oh, I had to because he was in the chair.
No. Had to versus get to is totally different.
And she started acting up and crying.
How old is she now? Like
3 months.
Yeah, she's young.
And I was like, what's wrong? He said, well, she did something in her diaper. I said, how you know? He said, it's a blue line on the diaper. I was like, diaper snitching now? He said, yeah. He said, well, if it's a blue line, it lets you know that they did something. I'm like, I look in there, I was like, oh, man, it's mustard.
Yeah, see,
like,
no.
oh, God.
You know what? That's why anytime there's going to be a kid around, I take my wife.
You take your wife with you?
Because she handles that kind of stuff.
But it was just amazing because I started thinking, I was like, man, when's the last time I changed a diaper? I'm like, Gianni, 19 years old.
Dude, you
I'm
know
like,
what?
God, that was almost 20 years ago.
It's been a long time for me.
Long time, man. Long, bro.
I don't miss it.
Oh, I did it right.
Hey,
That's
hats
all that
off
matters.
to you.
That's all that matters. I did it right.
Do you have a cigar in one hand?
No. I was sitting there playing with her.
That'd be mine. I'd be like, all right, you want me to do this? I'm going to smoke.
I got to smoke.
Keep that smell down.
But it was cool, man. I got to spend time with my cuz, my kid, my grandkid.
That's awesome, man.
It was just.
And when did you get back? Yesterday?
Yesterday. And then she a trooper, man.
You went to St. Louis too, though?
Yeah, because I left Nebraska, went to see my mom and my grandmother.
So did you drive all the way yesterday?
Yeah.
Dude.
I drove from
You're
Lincoln.
a beast.
I drove from Lincoln to Shiloh, rather, in Illinois. And then I stayed there 2 days, and then I came back yesterday. Hit the highway and came on in 12 hours.
That's a lot of driving in a short amount of time.
5:30 in the morning, made it here at 6:15.
Oh, that is
like, and I'm still running. I ain't stopped yet.
Dude, I can tell you that whenever me and Tim lived in St. Louis, we got off work at 6 p.m., probably got out of there about 6:30, and then we drove all the way to Lubbock.
That's a drive.
Dude,
that's a drive.
It is not a fun drive.
But it's closer than Abilene.
No, it's not.
It is because you got to go through Amarillo to get
right.
Yeah, you got to go through Amarillo to get there.
It was 14 hours. Okay. And I mean, it's interstate 100% of the trip. Yeah. But it's still, it's a fun.
I know. I got messed up en route there because my wife had my Google on no toll roads. And when you hit 35 in Kansas that has one toll road, and it took me off the road. I'm like, where am I going? I drove for like about 40 miles. I'm like, what is this thing doing? Got me going through these back roads. Then I was like, wait a minute. I went and checked no toll. I said, I couldn't get mad at nobody but myself because I was like, I should have checked before I did it. Yeah. I'm like, man, I lost like 40 minutes doing this stuff. Like, So I get back on the highway, and it was just like, right on in.
Crazy.
But it was beautiful, man. It was an opportunity. But that's going to be one of my pick six.
So okay, cool. Well, we'll get back to that.
Yeah.
So anyway, later on the show, we got Rob Boyland with us. And if you haven't seen his reviews, it's the final third. And dude does great reviews.
Yes.
Has a great palate.
Yes.
And I have known that guy now for a couple of years, and it was awesome to get him on the show.
Yes, yes.
And so we want to say thank you to Rob for being gracious enough to bless you.
Anybody want to come
for us to bless you? You're welcome.
He didn't get the bad part, so you did bless him.
That's right. So anyway, let's talk about our sponsors right quick.
Most definitely.
We've got Case Elegance, and if you need a great humidor, they're the ones to check on. I mean, that's Cigar Talk stamp of approval on humidors,
100%.
And lots of guys that have already got them and have given me feedback. I stand behind them on 100.
Yes, sir.
As my wife would say, Hundo P.
Hundo P.
100%.
I know Hundo P.
And so look down the show notes. You can click on their link and use the code Cigar Talk Coin, and you'll get a challenge coin with Cigar Talk on one side, Case Elegance logo on the other.
Yes.
And so those are very limited. I know they're getting low, so if you're ordering something and you want that,
quick.
you better do it quickly.
Yes.
Anyway, then our next one is Artesano Tobacco. Right here, baby. This is Viva La Vida Cigars. And I'm going to say I've jumped on the bandwagon with you. My favorite is the Club 500.
Oh,
I smoked another
goodness.
one last week, and I was like, dude, that
is a bad
it
man.
is. It's when they told me they were doing a 6x60, I automatically was like, ugh. Yeah. And they said it was box press, and I was like, well, that's better. Yeah. But the torpedo was fantastic.
Yes, sir.
But that 6x6 box
press is
amazing. Really is. So make sure if you haven't found them, find them. You're gonna regret it if you don't smoke.
Yeah, you're not gonna regret it if you find it. You're gonna regret it if you don't.
Right. And then we've got McAuliffe Cigars.
McAuliffe.
You know, we had Lauren on the show last week.
Yes.
And, you know, what a great addition to the McAuliffe team.
As they always do.
Always. And then if you want to become a McAuliffe ambassador, which I don't know who's out there that's not, but if you want to become an ambassador and you haven't yet, look in the show notes. There's a link. Go by. They'll send you a challenge coin with your own number, and you'll become part of the family.
Yes.
You'll be invited to be a member of the Facebook private group.
Yes, sir.
And it's just a great community, and they make great cigars, and they have a great team from top to bottom. And really, you know what? They don't even look at it from top to bottom. They just say team.
Team.
And that's
it.
And I'm impressed by the way they do their business. So that brings us to our last but not least sponsor. We have The Leaf in Abilene, Texas. 1166 North 2nd downtown. If you're within 30 miles, you got to come by, check it out.
Come on.
You're going to find a humidor that's like, I think it's like 32 feet by 1 million. It's freaking huge. It's freaking phenomenally stocked with premium cigars.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And dude, I mean, just like this week or last week, I guess it was, bringing in the Black Label Trading Company, the Dissident line. I mean, Jay's always bringing in great boutiques. We love boutiques.
Yes, we do.
In fact, I'm going to say that my favorite cigars all come from boutiques.
Most of mine do, yeah.
I mean, I know you're a Monte Cristo fan,
yeah.
but, you know,
the rest of
we're not going to hold that against you.
The rest of them are boutiques.
Yeah, boutiques, I mean, you get, to me, the craftsmanship to where the big companies have lost that.
It's that hunger.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, it's a commitment to their customers.
Oh, yes.
And so, anyway, and if you aren't in Abilene or around Abilene, you can call them, look down the show notes, and I'll leave this phone number, not his personal, but his work phone number. And you can call up Jay, Scott, Dwayne, Colton,
Alan,
and they will take your order, and they get it out ASAP. They include a Bovetta in every cigar and tobacco order.
Yes, sir.
They have amazing amount of cigars from tons of different lines, but they also have pipe tobacco. They have pipes. They have cutters. They have lighters. They have it all. They have coffee. They got beard oil. I mean, dude, it's a man's place to hang out. It's also for the ladies.
Oh, yes.
But if you're a man, he's got it
spot.
going on. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Women can come hang out at the shop and smoke.
Yeah.
Men, where else would we go? I mean, I don't want to go anywhere.
It's truthfully not here.
I don't want to go sit at a bar.
It's the spot.
Right. I mean, it's like it's where I want to be when I'm not going to be at my home.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes I don't want to go home.
So
Jay
you go
makes
there.
us leave.
Yes, he does.
It's like, dude.
He's like, I got to go home.
We closed 2 hours ago.
I got a family.
All right, fine. So anyway, look in the show notes. Give Jay a call, and he will hook you up. He's got the artisanal tobacco, which is the Viva La Vida.
Yes,
He's
sir.
got the full line of McAuliffe and a ton of other great cigars.
Yes,
so
sir.
give him a call. Let him know that we told you to call him.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, let's get to our pick 3 this week.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to let you go first.
As usual.
You know.
My first one is going to be the gift that I got.
Okay, and that was from who?
You know who.
Oh, from Zika.
No.
Oh.
Amazon Basin, baby.
Oh, from me.
Yes.
Wow. I get a top honor.
CAO Amazon Basin.
Very nice.
I took that with me and I smoked that on the 4th. Sitting there watching those fireworks go off and it was exploding I was like, this is perfect, man. This is perfect. Number 2
So you enjoyed it.
I more than enjoyed it.
So was it a perfect construction?
It was perfect construction,
burn?
perfect burn, perfect taste. And they was looking at it. He's like, man, that's a nice stick. I said, yeah, but you can't get it. And they's like, why? And I told them, they's like, well, how did you get some? I said, I got people that like me half the time.
That's right.
Half the time. And then the second one was the Aladino patent.
Oh, another gift.
Yes.
From Zika.
Zika
How did that
from the Riverman. I still had the one from the Riverman.
Oh, wow. So you got to share one.
And with my son.
Very
Me
nice.
and Bryant sat there on the 5th and smoked those Aladino patents, man. And it was an opportunity for him to understand the greatness of that Aladino stick. He looked at it, he's like, oh, Daddy, that's long. I was like, yeah, but it's good. You're going to enjoy it. And we sat there for about almost 2 hours. And he's like, he said, you do this a lot? I said, no, I don't smoke nothing this long, this length. I said, but how did you like it? He said, man, it tasted good. He said, I was picking up like wood. And I said, yeah, you developing a palate now.
Very
He's
impressive.
like, what? I was like, yeah, you developing a palate because that's what you want to taste in a cigar. And he just looked at me. I said, no. I said, it's not like cigarettes or those vapes that you use.
And the thing about it is, you get some cedar wood on this one,
and then
when you
later
smoke
on,
something else, you're going to get something. And that's impressive for a guy that hasn't smoked it that long.
this is his second stick. And I was like, wow. And my last was a gift from Zaka, the Roma Craft Weaselito.
You know what? He sent me a couple of those. And, you know, I always like, what's a smoke I can just smoke quick?
Real quick.
Yeah.
Real
I mean, and it was enjoyable. It was more like a real cigar than, you know, the cigarillos are not real cigars.
No, sir.
They're cigarillos.
That's what they are. They have their own name for a reason.
And so, you know, it's not a cigarette. And anyway, Jay's distracting us. Does he need another bourbon? There we go. Thank you. Anyway, you got to pour your own around here, Jay. So, hey, that's a great list.
Yes.
That's a great list.
That was a holiday list, a holiday vacation list.
Yeah.
There were more on there. If you check out my TikTok, you'll see the rest
so
of them.
you drove up on the 4th?
No, I drove up Friday before.
Oh, the second.
The Friday before. I left 9.
So what'd you do for the 4th?
We were sitting at my cousin's house. He was queuing and watching fireworks.
How was his ability to barbecue?
St. Louis pride. It was exactly what I was waiting for. I was like, oh my God, man! They're talking about ribs falling out. You take the bone and just twist it, and it came out. He called them feather bones. He brought some chicken wings. He called them feather bones.
Nice.
I was like, what's the feather bone? He pulled it. I was like, man, them chicken wings. He said, no, they feather bones. Watch this.
Now, did I tell you? You know, I got the Blackstone.
Yeah.
And I was never a cook in any way. I'm not a chef. I'm not a barbecuer. I'm not anything. But I got a Blackstone. And then I got some amazing spices from Mac Daddy's Original Spices.
Yes, sir.
And you know what? I'll even put that in the show notes. If you want to get spices to turn yourself into a chef and you're not a chef, you know, I see all these guys who are badass chefs.
Me too.
I'm not one of them.
We got a couple of them in the.
But since I got the Blackstone and the seasoning,
Guy Fieri,
dude,
you gonna dye your hair?
You know what? Although you know what I made today?
What's that?
Blackened salmon.
Okay, was it blackened because of the preparation, or did you leave it on the?
No. Do you know what makes blackened?
No, I don't.
Because it's not burning the meat. Mm-mm. What you do is you slather it in butter, and then you put special seasoning on it, and then when you put it on the griddle, the butter is what chars the seasoning.
Okay.
It's not burning the meat.
Gotcha.
I watched a video.
He said, I learned it before I did it.
Yeah, I didn't want to take a chance on screwing that up.
Especially with salmon.
Yeah. And then, have you ever had shaved Brussels sprouts?
I eat Brussels sprouts any way you prepare them.
Well, you can buy them in a bag, and they're shaved or whatever. Shredded, but they're sliced real thin. And I put those on the griddle with olive oil and kosher salt.
Okay.
Dude.
And they tasted amazing.
And I got them to where they were slightly crispy.
Yeah, still. Because I do that in the oven. I put them in the oven.
Roast them.
Oh, gosh.
I used to hate Brussels sprouts.
You're not the only one. As a kid, you couldn't pay me to eat a Brussels sprout.
Now I'm like, that's a great side.
Grown, when I go to a restaurant, what do you want for the sides? You got Brussels sprouts? Yeah, give me those. And you got some asparagus? Yeah, I take that too.
Now, I'm real skittish on getting asparagus from restaurants.
Why?
Because I like mine charred. I like them crispy.
Okay.
Because that's how I do it.
I like them crunchy still.
You like them green.
Yeah.
I don't like them green.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'll eat them green, but that's not how I want them.
Gotcha. I never tried it that way you talking about.
Yeah. So, anyway.
What's your 3?
Okay, so right off of the bat, a sin compromiso.
Was that the gift?
That was a gift. And, you know, that stick is so chocolatey good. Chocolatey good.
It is.
And then I got a cigar with coffee that I haven't had in a while. It was the McAuliffe Riata. When's the last time you had the Riata?
I can't remember.
It's too long.
It's true.
Because it is very, it's not even a medium, but it's so creamy and smooth. And then at the end, it just comes right up to a medium to give you the kiss goodnight. Yeah. And it was a great stick.
Jay, you got him?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I needed.
And then, all right.
He said, I got all of them.
Here's my final stick. And let me tell you what. You know what? I'm going to have to do a bonus stick.
Here we go.
I'm going to have to do a bonus stick.
All right, bro. Go ahead.
Number 3 on the list was Salvation. That's the new line of the Black Label Trading Company at the Leaf. And the Salvation was amazing.
Okay.
In fact, I'd never had it before. I smoked it, was so impressed, I bought 3 more. Because I was like, these are good. And then I had, on Saturday when you were out of town, I had Ed buy one. And then Bill Kalame came in and I had him buy one. And he loved it. Ooh. And you know, Bill
is a pipe man.
And Bill is very particular.
Yes.
He normally smokes 1964s. So when he said, he came back there and he's like, hey, what's new? What should I smoke? And I was like, dude, you got to go with the Salvation. And, you know, that got a big chuckle out of it. And anyway, he went and smoked it, or he went and got one. And while he was gone, I was like, man, you know how Bill is. Is he going to come back here and bust my balls for my selection?
Yeah.
But no, he was like, this is good. So, you know, you get a little like,
that super that knighthood.
Yeah, that knighthood of
ding ding.
Hey, yeah, you picked out a good stick. Because you know when you're picking out a stick for Bill, there's pressure.
You gotta hit a home run with Bill because he will let you know.
Now the other stick that
the honorable mention.
Yeah, it's the honorable mention. It would have been number 1 on the list if I didn't dislike the owner of the brand.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And you know what? It's just a little something.
Yeah.
But you know what? Here's how good that stick is. First of all, it's a $14 stick.
Yes.
You know, I normally like to be in the $8 to $11 range.
We stay under $12.
Right. Yeah.
Under 12.
Right. Unless it's a special occasion, and then I'm like Padron, McAuliffe Reserva.
Yeah.
But that's special occasions. This was not a special occasion, but it was a stick that I know I love. And it's from Dissident.
Yep.
And it's the Home. That stick, I think, could be one of the top it would easily, to me, make the top 25 of the year.
Oh, okay.
If I didn't dislike the owner of that brand. But I love your sticks.
I don't like you, but I love that stick.
So, anyway, that's my top 4.
Your top 4. You had a good pick. You had good picks this week too.
It was a good week. It really was. And
you'll put these in the show notes so people are like, okay, I'm gonna try what they were talking about.
And I also owe everybody an apology that watched a YouTube video. You remember I said I was going to put a picture up?
Yeah, you didn't put the pictures up. I know.
You know when I realized it?
When it was out?
When I hit upload, I was like, oh, and then I was like, I'm not redoing it. Not doing
it's
it.
Done.
It's done. So anyway, we will put the top 6 in the show notes if I can manage it.
If you can manage it.
So, hey, anyway, we got Rob Boyland from the Final Third coming up next. Don't miss his interview. He is an awesome guy.
Yes, sir.
And so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break. Hey guys, we have a great long-term friend guest, and I've been wanting to have, time to do what he's doing, and he's kicking ass and taking names. We wanted to have him on the show, tell you about him, tell you about what he does. We've got Rob Boyland with us today. How you doing, brother?
Doing good.
All right. Well, cool, man. So, yeah, I told Bryant, I was at the shop with him earlier, and I was like, hey, man, I got Rob Boyland on. And he was like, oh, sweet. I was like, you should come down to the shed. And he was like, got to take my wife out to eat. And I was like, well, that trumps meeting Rob.
Yeah. I'm not that good looking. So.
Right. So I was automatically like, all right, we'll see you later then. But anyway, on Saturdays we go down to the Leaf and we hang out, and it's usually me and Big Larry and Ed and Bryant, and we're smoking and drinking coffee. But I'm on vacation this week, so the coffee drinking was like at 10. The bourbon drinking started at 11.
Well, exactly. Yes.
And it was like, because somebody was like, hey, you want a drink? And Ed was like, oh, it's 11 o'clock. And I was like, I'll take one.
Yeah, I have the motto, if you don't start drinking in the morning, you can't drink all day.
Exactly. You got to get your head start going.
That's
so
right.
Tell everybody about like where you're from, what you do, and then I'll ask you some questions about how you got started. Because I remember talking to you back when you first wanted to get into it. And so tell everybody what you do.
Sure. Well, I'm actually a general manager of a cigar lounge on the south side of Indianapolis called the Smoke Pit. I started doing that because I really wanted to get even deeper into the industry and just fell in love with the industry. Really, even during the first part of COVID is when I really started jumping into smoking 4, 5, 8 cigars a day, whatever it took. And I realized this is something I wanted to be a part of. So I retired from my previous work and started doing this, and really enjoyed the environment on social media, on Instagram, Facebook. Built the website, and just all that's been fun to connect with people, connect with consumers, but also connect with brands, and just realize there's a lot of really awesome people in this industry that are surrounding themselves in this industry. But yeah, I grew up here in central Indiana. I've been here my whole life. I live now about 25 miles from where I grew up.
Now, how far are you from the Cigar Pulpit?
About probably 3.5 to 4 hours.
Oh, so it's not that close. I was thinking it was quite a bit closer. I mean, that's probably a good thing. I'd want to be as far as from those guys as I could be. That's why I stay in Texas.
I get you. I get it, man. Especially with Gator, he might move in.
Yeah, Gator. I tell you what, and I'll tell you the reason I say that is because I have a feeling that if me and Gator hung out, like bad shit would happen.
It'd be a shit show for sure.
Yeah, because I actually I think Gator is funny, but we share a lot of the same type of humor, so I think we would get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. He's really. I mean, they're both really great guys, and again, they're a couple of guys doing a lot in the industry, just like you are.
Oh
too.
Man, they do a ton.
I think the more we sit around like this and we talk about what we love, it just gets more people excited about it, and just
absolutely, man. I think that we should probably even start doing like a group of guys that are in the business, just meetings and talking about stuff, because I mean, shoot, man, what you told me before we started the show, I was just like, wow, that's awesome, man. That's congratulations. But we'll get to that. Well, maybe, because that was off the record.
Maybe, yeah.
So anyway, tell us about when you first started smoking cigars. I mean, how long have you been smoking cigars, and how did you actually start?
Well, I started actually back in the early 90s. I used to play a lot of golf. Okay. And we'd go out to the golf courses, grab a couple cigars, grab a 6-pack of beer, throw it in the cart, and take off. And I started smoking then. Of course, most golf courses back then had a couple of Macanudos, a couple of Romeos. They had maybe 5 or 6 to select from, and I'd smoke them, and I enjoyed them. And I've probably smoked off and on ever since. Not a lot, probably, between the 90s and early 2000s, it was probably more of a, every once in a while by the campfire type thing. But then about a year before, everything goes back to COVID, the beginning of COVID. But the year before that, I was down in New Orleans with some friends down there. And I was wanting to get into whiskey, first of all. And I never liked it.
Hey, who doesn't?
And she comes in, and the 2 girls I was with, they're like, well, we're going to try some stuff. So the first girl goes up and buys me a pour on ground. This is fantastic. I said, what is it? She's like, it's Macallan 25 year. I'm like, okay.
Wow, yeah.
So at that time, I had no clue cost values or anything else. The other girl went up and got me Oban 18. I tried that. That's great too. I'm like, I'm into whiskey now. I come home and start looking at the price of those bottles. I'm like, yeah, I can't afford that as a daily drinker.
Right. But now you know that there is good whiskey. And now you start that journey of finding what is in your price range that's still really freaking good.
Yeah. And that was one of those things where I got back and I started trying bourbons and trying some different scotches and found I really did enjoy them. But during that trip, I was down there and we went to a lot of cigar lounges and, went down to one called Cuban Creations, which is absolutely a blast to go to, just a cool vibe, everything else. And was smoking some cigars. I'm like, man, I need to get back into this, as much as I really love it.
Well, now let me ask you something before you go on. Sure. Like earlier you said when you started, it was on the golf course.
Yeah.
Did you ever go hang out at a lounge, or was it just because that's the main difference I see here?
Yeah,
like you smoked with guys on the golf course, but everybody's not always together. Your ball's over there. But when you go into a lounge, that's when it clicks and you're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, back then, I mean, honestly, I don't even remember any cigar lounges really around. It was more the local cigar shop, and I would go in and buy cigars, go home, do whatever, go to the golf course. And that was really the only kind of atmosphere I knew was the cigar shop, which, back then too, it was the old school shop where you walk in, no one really, not that there might not be people smoking there, but it was more of a, you go in, pick what you want. You're not really getting helped much. You're just kind of picking what you want. And so that was okay. But then going down to these in New Orleans and really having an interaction with people and really getting to know more about the cigars that they were selling.
And you think about it, I mean, I wonder if, like, I didn't smoke cigars in the 90s, so I don't know what lounges were like. Were there any cigar lounges back then, or has the cigar industry as a whole evolved into what we have now?
There weren't any where I was playing, where I was living, or here in Indiana. There weren't any that I knew of. There wasn't any that I remember much. Even out in Myrtle Beach when we go out there and play golf a lot, it was more of the local bar where you can go out and sit on the patio and smoke a cigar, stuff like that.
Right.
But it was more shops you go into. So the lounge thing to me, really over the last 2 or 3 years probably has been something I'd love to get go into. Any cigar lounge you go into and you just immediately have that clique of, like-minded people. And the funny thing is you're like-minded because of the cigar. You're not like-minded because of politics or religion or, whatever work you have. And that's the great equalizer. It's so much fun to go in and sit down and actually have a conversation. I mean, like at our lounge, I've got everybody that's from a sanitation worker up to the deputy prosecutor of our county. And we all sit around and hang out and talk. And it's just a blast to be able to do stuff like that.
Yeah, it really is. And I'll tell you this, I was at a casino probably 6-7 weeks ago, and me and my cousin had met up there. And when we left, I was like, we left at like 10 o'clock in the morning. He went his way, I went mine. And the first thing I did was pull up nearest cigar lounge. And so I go pull into a cigar lounge I've never been to. I walk in and there's like probably 15 guys sitting in a circle with no open chairs. And I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. So I go in the humidor. The tobacconist comes in, helps me. He's fantastic. And I pick out some sticks I'd never had before, and I was excited to smoke them. And instead of getting back on the road, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to smoke here. I was like, y'all have coffee? He's like, yeah. You wanted French pressed? And I was like, oh, well, yeah. Awesome. Yes, so I get my sticks and I go sit down in another section. He comes over with my coffee, and then two of the guys that were sitting in the circle come over and sat out on my side. We struck up conversations. Dude, I smoked 2.5 cigars there before I left, and I was planning on being there for 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so much fun to be able to be a part of that community, and that was one of the things that was my goal. Joining a cigar lounge was to create a culture of, just total inclusivity. Everyone's welcome. Every conversation, is going to, come together and happen. And, that's one of the things I always love to do is go into the humidor, get to know everyone's palate, and then help them try something they've never tried. Because, like I told you earlier, most of our cigars are boutique cigars. So in Indiana, most people have never smoked most of these cigars. So
Right.
it's like you really want to learn their palate a little bit, and then turn them onto a couple cigars, and before long, that's all they're smoking, because they realize, these small brands are knocking it out of the park on some of their blends right now. There's the occasional one you get and you sample and you're like, that won't go well here. But for the most part, people are doing a really good job of making some great stuff.
Well, one of my favorite things that I try to teach people, because it's one of my life lessons as a cigar smoker, is don't get stuck in a rut. Try things that you think you won't like. You'll be amazed at some of the sticks you would have never smoked, and now it's one of your favorites.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah, and even some guys, like I remember this one older gentleman that comes in, and he's like, I want the mildest thing you've got in here, and I've tried probably a dozen different milder cigars, and he's like, I don't really like that one too much. He's totally cool. I mean, really great guy, trying everything. So then this last week he comes in, and I gave him HVC 500th anniversary, and that's a medium, maybe even a little tick above medium strength cigar. And he smokes like, that's the best one you've ever given me. I'm like, so it's really not about strength; it's more about the thought of the strength.
Right.
And, so now he's got opened up to a whole new level of cigars he can come.
Yeah,
in there and
now he's opened up the floodgates for all the different cigars he can try. And when you get that opportunity, you're like, man, I've been missing out. It's like now I can take a whole new journey I've never had before.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't remember exactly when we talked, but you reached out to me once before, but it seems like it's been like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think we were on a HERF. Well, we talked before, but then we got on a HERF, one of your Saturday night HERFs, and all that BS happening for about 6 or 8 hours, I think it was.
Oh, dude, we used to, like, our HERFs would start at 8 and be over sometimes at like 3 in the morning.
Well, there was a couple of times I think I got off when the sun was popping up too. So.
Well, I never made it to daybreak. I usually had to go because I'd already had too much to drink by that time. But yeah, those were some good times, man.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we got to do those again sometime.
Shoot, we did one last night, man.
Did you really?
Yeah, we do one. We do one almost every weekend. Sometimes I'm on it, sometimes I'm not. But you should join our Discord group, dude. That's where we announce our HERFs.
Yeah, I need to, but I mean, to be honest with you, there's just so much on the social medias. Discord just is one more animal to have to deal with.
See, I went the opposite way. I don't deal with hardly any social media anymore except for the Discord because we don't have any rules.
Well, and Discord's nice because it's just like a your local lounge. You're just typing.
Yeah, because you're talking to the same guys.
Yeah,
and it's really a great community. But that's where we usually announce the HERF. So it's like, hey, does anybody want to have a HERF? And he's like, yeah. So next thing you know, we've got 5, 6, 10 guys on there herfing for a couple hours.
I'll log back in and hook back up with you that way too.
Yeah, and I sent some invites to some guys, and they were like, well, do I have to check in and talk and all that all the time to stay as a member? And I was like, nah, man, you come and go as you please.
Yeah.
So no, we're not we don't require any keystroke counting.
Sure, yeah.
But so you retired from your regular career.
Yep.
And decided that you wanted to get into the cigar industry. And at the time, I don't really think that you even knew what that looked like. I mean, you just knew you wanted to be involved.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of my personality too, is I can never do anything halfway. If I get into something, it's like, balls to the wall, go at it and learn as much as you possibly can. That's why I had to give up golf back in the late 90s, because if I didn't give up golf, I was going to have to give up my family. And that wasn't going to happen. So
you were never, are you saying you were never going to make the pro tour?
I was, I got fairly good, but I was never going to be close to that good.
Right.
When you start when you're in your 20s, you start with swing your first club. It's probably a little bit behind the 8-ball at that time.
Right. Well, I'll tell you this. A funny story is, like, I played golf all my life, and I am a consistent 97 to 105 shooter. I used to play 3 days a week at a country club, and I was there 3 days a week at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And in 3 years of doing that, I went from a 105 to a 97 down to a 96 to 104.
Well, see, I played a lot more than that, unfortunately. I was out 3 or 4 times a week and then had at least 2 rounds on a Saturday and probably at least a round on a Sunday. And I got my handicap down to about 7, which was really good for me. But it took away. I mean, that was my life. I'd leave work and go straight there and basically see my wife when my kids are already in bed. And it was not healthy for anybody. So
that's how,
when you make an obsession out of something, it's not good.
Well, that sounds a lot like my dad. My dad was that way. If he was home, he was on the golf course.
Mm-hmm.
And he played with a group of guys, and if they could get in or 18 holes, you can guarantee you they were going to be there.
Yeah.
And so, and the funny thing is, I never got good. He probably shot like 78 to 85 on a regular, which is good, but not pro level. And then
that was about where I was too. Yeah.
Well, my youngest brother comes along. He doesn't start playing golf until he's 20. And within 6 months, he's shooting 74 to 70.
Wow.
And never took lessons, just went out there and started playing.
That's great.
And he's a complete dick. No, I'm just messing with you. No, he's.
So you guys are a lot alike.
Right.
Gotcha.
The acorns don't fall far from the tree. But no, and then he went on to get his, I don't know, PA card or whatever they call it, PGA card or something like that. Yeah. And he ended up being an assistant golf pro at a golf course. And after about a year, he hated it. And then he left that behind. But, his big thing was he could play with me and my dad and shoot 70, 74. And then when he was playing out there in a tournament or something, he just sucked.
Yeah.
He got nervous. He couldn't handle the stress. And I mean, you'd be watching play like, dude, what was that?
Yeah, when that competition level changes, it does change things up. That's for sure.
Yeah, when he's playing with us, he already knows he's got it in the bag. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Although we used to play $1 a hole. It would be me, my dad, and him. We'd play $1 a hole, but I've got five mulligans to even it out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I never used the mulligan through the first 17 holes. So on the 5th hole, we all chipped in $5 a piece. So on the 5th hole, I used all 5 mulligans and got a birdie and won the hole.
There you go. Got to make money somehow, right?
And my brother's like, no, man, you can't use all 5 on one hole. And I was like, you said I get 5. I saved them. So
well, that was another great story from the lounge one day. A couple weeks ago, a guy came in, and he's a really good golfer, and apparently his buddy's even that much better. His buddy's almost a scratch golfer, and they were up at a club up in Chicago, and there was a guy standing there, and they were getting a tee time, and he's like, yeah, you need 2 more people for your card. So he looked over and said, hey, you guys want to play with us? Sure. And he walks. So they're like, go out to the tee box. Michael Jordan is his partner.
No way.
And so Jordan walks up to the first tee and says, we play 10 a hole. And they're like, cool, that's no problem. So they're playing, and they're playing best ball for the 2, just, partners. And by the time they get to the end, this guy and his buddy win, and Jordan gets out and writes a check for $30,000. And he's like, oh man, I can't take this. He's like, we were just playing 10 a hole. He's like, I said I was meaning 10,000 a hole. They had no clue that it was 10,000 a hole until the end.
Wow.
And Jordan looked at me and said, "If we'd have won, I'd have made you pay it." So, wow. That would have been my luck, is to lose.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm thinking $10 a hole. Okay, yeah, that'd be fun.
Probably should have thought, okay, this is Jordan. $10 a hole is nothing to him. So.
Right. Well, that's what I was thinking. When you said that, I was like, $10, that's $180.
I know. But that was kind of funny. But yeah, you never know what you're going to hear at a cigar lounge, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how long have you been the general manager at the shop?
We've been open for 9 months now, so since then.
Okay, cool, man. So how's that been going?
Pretty good. I mean, COVID slows everything down, as you know. But we've got a good base of clientele, and like I said earlier, I've been trying really hard to create that inclusive environment for everyone to feel comfortable and welcome when they come in, and I think we've done a really good job of that. Helping customers. We have a lot of young people that come in, so helping them learn what their palate is and learn, really what cigars are. I mean, down to teaching them how to cut and light a cigar. And, some people get irritated by that, but I'm like, that's fun. You get to help someone actually learn how to do something right and enjoy it.
Because I'll tell you what, I smoked cigars for 4 years before I even had someone show me how to cut a cigar. You don't know what you don't know,
No.
And so, I mean, any education that you give anyone, I think, is in the right direction.
Yep, I agree. And that's part of the fun of it. And in all honesty, being in that environment is just, again, helping each other enjoy what you enjoy yourself. So,
yeah, I cut one of my cigars at the lounge one day, and I went and sat down, was smoking, and the owner, cranky old man Bill, come in, and there's a little plate at the front where people clip their cigars, and he picked up a fucking butt, and he was like, "Who in the hell cut their cigar this far down?" And I was like, "Oh, that was me." And he came over there and showed me how to cut a cigar, because no one had ever done that.
Well, most people don't look at the cigar to realize how deep that cap is or how shallow it is. I mean, that's one of the things about, Padron's one of the quintessential brands out there, some of the best cigars out there. But if you look at their caps, they have some pretty shallow caps on their cigars, and you start cutting that thing down low, now all of a sudden you screwed up a $25 cigar.
Exactly.
It's no fun anymore.
Right.
So just learning the right way to do it, that's for sure.
So tell us about how you started doing the final thirds and how you got into that, and tell everybody where they can find your reviews.
Sure. Well, I mean, honestly, for me, it was more, I wanted to get out and meet people. I wanted to meet brands, but I also wanted to meet people that were like-minded. Living in the Midwest, you never know how many people around you in your town or your locale that actually smoke cigars. I wanted to find some people I could hang out with and smoke cigars with. So, with social media booming the way it has been, I just decided to open up an Instagram page. And one night I was sitting out back smoking a cigar, and to this day I can't remember which one it was. It may have been a Padron 26. But I got down to that final third, and it was just getting better all the way down to the bottom. And I told my wife, I ought to use the name Final Third Cigar. And she's like, "Actually, that sounds really good." And I talked to a couple other people like, "That's awesome. I like that." So I'm like, well, we'll just try that. So I had no intention of really doing much with it other than just having an Instagram page. But as I started taking pictures and talking about cigars, I thought, at that time, there wasn't a ton of people reviewing cigars. There were a few. There were probably a lot more than I realized because I wasn't digging deep enough.
Right.
But I thought, this would be kind of fun because I had a lot of people asking me, what do you think of that cigar? And ask a question. I'm like, well, why don't I just start writing about it and see what happens? So then I built the finalthirdcigar.com website and started doing reviews of that one and on that one. And it's just kind of taken off. I've got, tons of subscribers on that now, and Instagram's growing, and it's just been a lot of fun to engage in that way. And, I tell people all the time, tastes are completely subjective. You may not get any of the flavors I get. You may not get any flavors for that matter, but this is what I'm getting, and it might give you an idea, at least what you can expect when you smoke this cigar.
Right.
And it's really helped out a lot.
Absolutely, man. I mean, and dude, you smoke a lot of different cigars. I see your post on Instagram, And so, I mean, you smoke just a little bit of everything.
I try to. I mean, I know, and we were talking about this earlier, you got the guy that goes in and buys the same cigar every day and smokes it, and maybe he loves it, and that's fine. Again, some people are like that, some people aren't. I'm the guy that likes to try everything new. I'm the guy that goes to the craft brewery and gets a sample of every beer or a flight of every beer that they have, and may end up never buying a pint because I just want to try everything.
Right.
And
because you never know when you're going to hit that golden,
yeah,
at the end of the rainbow, the golden pot of cigars.
Exactly. So I mean, that's kind of what I started doing, and started, finding these weird brands I'd see online, and I just call them up and buy some cigars from them and try them out, and I started finding out, man, there's some really, really awesome stuff out there, like this 1502 I'm smoking right now.
Absolutely,
Great
man.
Cigar.
I just looked down and I finished my cigar already. So
what were you smoking anyway?
I was smoking a 1964 anniversary.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Earlier today at the Leaf, I smoked a New World Cameroon. Man, I love the New World Cameroon. I think it is a very delicate, smooth cigar. You know what I mean? It's not overpowering. A lot of AJ stuff is a lot peppery, but that Cameroon is not.
It's not. It's one of the unless you're looking for that AJ pepper, which I like.
I do too. But like first thing in the morning with coffee, that cigar is. And I think
for the longest time, it was probably my favorite Cameroon on the market until the Aladino Cameroon came out.
The Aladino's something special. Yeah, that Aladino's nice. Awesome.
I just got in Dan. Dan at the Riverman.
Oh yeah.
He just sent me a couple of the Lanceros of the Cameroon and the Vintage Selection. I just smoked the Vintage Selection this morning, and man, those things are good. Those little Lanceros are so good.
I'm not a big Lancero guy, but I do like one time to time if it's really freaking good. You know what I mean? And
I've gone from liking any kind of ring gauge to I'm the point now where really about 52, maybe 54s, but mostly 52s and under.
Yeah.
I'll smoke. But anything bigger than about really typically 50, I'm just not really excited about. I just don't like that bigger ring gauge. But it doesn't matter if it gets all the way down to a Lancero. I love those. So Coronas too.
I like the Corona. I like the Corona Extras. I like about a 46 to a 52.
Yeah.
Now, every once in a while, like I smoked a Perdomo Habano the other day, and I think that's a 54. And even when I was smoking that, I was like, this is kind of big.
Yeah.
This is kind of big. Well,
and that's the thing too. I don't smoke a lot of Perdomo, mainly because most of the Perdomos you see are the 660s,
right?
At least around here,
right?
And it's like I don't enjoy a 660,
dude. A 660, and I'll tell you this though, I do like the box press Club 500 from Viva La Vida because
I will deal with it on that cigar.
It doesn't have the feel of a 660 because of that box press. Same thing with the Flathead 660. I'll smoke those. But just a 660 regular, maybe if it's a torpedo, I could do it.
Yeah.
But, and what's so funny is I used to only smoke 6x60s because I thought I was cool.
A lot of people do. I mean, that's kind of what you do. You think you think it's going to be the best bang for your buck because they're typically not a whole lot more expensive than a Toro or a Robusto. You think you're getting more of a longer smoke, which you are. But it's just, I think when you fill it up with more fillers, it just doesn't have the same
You're not
flavor.
getting the same flavor for me. I prefer straight up across the board a Robusto. If I'm going to, especially when I try new cigars, I love to smoke it in the Robusto. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's where you get the maximized flavor profile of that cigar. In general, maybe not always.
I do like Robustos. I really, really enjoy the Corona Gordas or the Corona Extras. I love the Lonsdale, but the reason I fell in love with Lonsdales is, again, that Aladino Cameroon Lonsdale was just, perfect. But yeah, I mean, I'm all over the board, man. I like about everything except for when you get up to the bigger ring gauges.
Yeah, and if you go above 660, no thank you. I can't do that at all.
Yeah.
770. Yeah. In fact, someone gave me a Texas Lancero from Alec Bradley, and I think it's like a 770. And I was like, there's no way I could smoke a box of these.
Well, we were talking to the rep from CLE and asked her, well, what's your number one seller? And she said it was that 770 Asylum. I said, really? She's like, yeah, our number two seller is the 880. I'm like, what?
Who are you selling to?
I know. I'm just like, I don't know the person that's buying those on a consistent basis to make that your number one seller. But man, yeah, I don't
probably
get it,
someone in the adult film industry.
Huh?
I said probably someone in the adult film industry.
Could be.
So what do you got planned coming up? I mean, you're doing the final third, cigar reviews. You're also the general manager at a cigar lounge. What do you got, cooking up for the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, I've always got my eyes open, just thinking about what's next. And, I've got a project I'm working on right now. Won't get into the details of it, but I'm wanting to be able to offer some cigars to places that don't normally have cigars.
I think that's a great idea.
And just make it something to, you have people going out doing stuff. And again, I don't think the younger generation now has as much of a stigma against cigars as maybe they once did, or that age group once did, but they're willing to try it. And I think if you have cigars available to people in different areas or, different groups, whatever,
reach completely different demographics too.
Yes.
Because the guys coming into the cigar shop, they already know they want to come there.
Yeah.
The guys going to say, X, Y, and Z, they don't even think about cigars because they're not going. But hey, if there's cigars there and I'm already trying something else, hey, let's see what that's like.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too about cigars. Cigars are, different than if you used to go to the old bars and people smoke cigarettes and everyone, like, oh, that smells, someone smells a cigar and they're like, oh, that smells kind of good. And, it kind of gets them interested to find out what's going on there. And you may get 1 in 5 people that decide they want to buy one and try it. And it's like, might as well expand the horizons a little bit more. And honestly, the more people we can get smoking cigars in this world, the more chances of this legislation and shit going on that's going to hopefully go in our favor more than the other way now. So, that's the hope. Just get more people exposed.
Absolutely. And fight for your rights, man.
Yeah. Well, and that's like, for me, when I first started getting back into smoking daily, I've dealt with migraines and headaches my entire life. And I started smoking cigars and they went away. And I'm like, there's something to this. And I don't know if it's just the relaxation, sitting down and just chilling out and actually just staying there or what. I don't know what it was for sure. But I'm like, ever since then, I've been smoking, 4 to 8 cigars a day. And I don't get the headaches like I used to. I mean, I still get them occasionally, but not like I did. And, I talk to people about that all the time. And I've got a buddy of mine. He's got some serious health issues. He's got Huntington's disease. He's got ADHD. He suffered from Tourette's his entire life. And he was always just kind of always on the energy level where he just couldn't sit down. I introduced him to cigars. And it's like every time he pulls out a cigar, he can just sit back and relax. It's like the only time he can just sit still and just enjoy it. I'm like, there is really something in my thing, therapeutic, but also medicinal to smoking cigars. I just think it's something that, you're not inhaling it. So you're not getting cancer from smoking cigars, but there's something inherently, beautiful about sitting down, smoking a good stick and just doing nothing else but thinking about what you're doing there. Even if you're watching TV or whatever you're doing, just something like that. It's just, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, to me, it's completely therapeutic.
What's that?
It's completely therapeutic for me.
It is. Well, my wife tells people all the time that when I started smoking cigars daily, it was probably the best thing that ever happened to our marriage because she'd sit out with me while I'm smoking and we'd just sit there and talk for a couple hours. Yeah,
my wife comes out on the patio with me while I smoke a cigar and we have great conversations, man.
Yeah. And then now she's picked up smoking cigars and she'll smoke them with me occasionally too. And, it's just, I don't know, it's just it brings people together.
Yeah.
No matter whether you're married or friends or what.
Now we don't do that now from now until probably October because it's too damn hot down here in Texas.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little warm out here today, but nothing like what you're getting. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think last night I took a picture of the thermometer outside on the wall, and it was like 106 at like 8 o'clock at night.
Oh,
I was like, yeah, that's why I'm in the studio, because in the studio it's 70, which is perfect.
Yeah, that's something I'd like to do one of these days, is have an indoor space here at the house, but I don't yet, so we'll see.
You'll get there, and when you do, you never want to leave.
I know. But I do, I mean, and that's the thing, too. In Indiana, until you get to the dead of winter, even when it's hot in the summer, you can usually deal with it some. But like today, you know, we got a little bit of a breeze. It's like 100% humidity, but it's 80 degrees, and the wind's blowing. It's like, it doesn't feel too bad out here. You know, if it was 80 or 100% humidity down there at 110 degrees.
Oh, we have zero humidity where I am. I mean,
oh, do you?
Yeah,
that's nice.
We don't have humidity. It's hot. I mean,
yeah,
like it's 102 to 112, and humidity or not, it's too freaking hot to be outside.
What part of Texas are you in?
I am at the very beginning of West Texas.
Okay.
Like if you leave Dallas going west, I'm about 3 hours.
Oh. Okay.
So, and then when you get to us, we're really what you call hill country, and then you get into West Texas. And then once you get into West Texas, it's another 4 hours to the border of New Mexico.
Yeah. Well, I know you guys go to the Leaf a lot, and I talked to Jay when he was in the old place. A long time ago. We were just because I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do in this industry, and got to talking to him, and he just seems like a great guy.
Dude, I mean, yeah, the fact that you were able to just call and talk to him, and I mean, he's so forthcoming and transparent. You can ask him anything, and he's going to tell you what is best. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and that's, again, that comes back to this industry. I mean, yeah, you're going to have the occasional stick in the mud that's not going to want to share their beliefs or whatever, and it's like, it's all, you know my idea is, rising tides raise all ships. Right. If everyone's working for the same cause, if you're a really good cigar shop or a cigar lounge and we're working together, all we're going to do is bring more people to the industry. We're not going to actually compete in a way that it's detrimental to either one of us.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, like I have 4, well, I say 4, I guess I'm one of the 4, but 3 other podcasts that I truly enjoy, and I love those guys. But you have the Cigar Pulpit, you have the Good Cigar, and you have the Straight Cut. I love those guys. I love what they do. And so, I'm always all about promoting those dudes because I think they do a great job.
I agree. I've got my rotation every week of podcasts I listen to, you guys, Pulpit, and the other 2 you just talked about, and then the Authority. I listen to those 5, and it just kind of becomes your weekly ritual. You just line them up in your podcast, and as you're driving, you listen to them. And the cool thing about a podcast right now is, people may listen, but they also feel like they know you. Right.
It's so personable.
Yeah. I mean, like I've had a bunch of people come into the lounge and come up to me, and that Nick and Jeff call me Broccoli Rob.
Right. Right.
And they'll come in and say, "Hey, Broccoli," it's like, it's kind of cool because they feel like they already know me. But,
right. There's a bond right there.
Yeah. So you're already friends, even though you haven't even met yet. And I think that's what's cool about the podcasting world right now. It just brings everybody closer together.
I don't listen to podcasts like most people do. When I put on a show, I do random. I don't listen to them in order. I just do random because everybody has so many episodes, and I have missed some. And now if it comes up with the episode I've already heard, I just hit next. But I like to listen to them random just because it's like, see, I didn't know they did this, and I didn't know they did that. So that's how I do it.
Yeah.
So Well, cool, man. Well, hey, we want to say thanks for coming and being on the show and being our guest. We love what you're doing. And so tell everybody where they can find you.
Sure. The easiest places to find me are I'm on Instagram at Final Third Cigar. Websites, finalthirdcigar.com. Those are two of the best places to find me. I'm on Facebook too, under just Rob Boyland. And basically, I post to Instagram and it bounces over to Facebook, and I just kind of communicate with both of them. But either one of those places, like I said, I love to connect with people, and the more people we can connect with, the more people are going to be able to love cigars we love. So
absolutely, man. Well, hey, keep up the great work, and your Instagram looks awesome, dude.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.
Your photo skills have come a long ways.
Yeah, well, you know what? An iPhone with the filters make a ton of difference.
Yeah, but they look fantastic. And you know what? For me, I was a photographer for 20 years. And so I appreciate when I see good photography. And you know what 90% of a good photo is cropping.
Yes.
How does the photo flow? How does it look? And then you add all the filters in there, and now it just looks like a masterpiece. So hats off, man. You're doing a great job.
I appreciate it, man. You too as well.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. Well, hey, man, have a great weekend. What's left, and we'll talk to you real soon, brother.
You got it, man. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, brother. Hey, we want to say thank you to Rob for joining us, man. What a great interview. What a great guy.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I love everything that guy does. I mean, talk about someone who is committed to the cigar community, dude.
Come on.
And
his knowledge.
And dude, the amount of stuff he posts on Instagram blows me away.
Yeah.
I am so freaking lazy when it comes to Instagram these days. I mean, I'm like, you know what? We should swap accounts.
You'd love mine then.
No.
Oh, you talking about
post
him
all the time.
No, I don't.
You post way more than I do.
Truly?
I post about once every 2 weeks.
Yeah, I do. I do.
So we can do that. So anyway, I know it's not a lot of guys' favorite subject.
Okay.
But we're going to jump in. Are you ready for this?
You got me on pins and needles. What?
Well, I'm debating now.
You can't get people's anticipation raised like that and then say, oh, no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I can.
Open your mouth, man. Say it.
I'll do it.
I know you. We know you will because we know you're that person.
And I do. No, I was going to say the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm glad you were scared to say it. I dropped my drink, man. I didn't want to hear about the Cowboys, man. You got a 49ers fan and an Eagles fan in the house. Nobody wants to hear about the Cowboys.
I'm giving you my newest prediction.
Oh, Jesus.
What did I tell you last time?
10-6?
No.
Yes, you did. Cause
I went 8-8.
No, that was last year.
I know, and I said maybe it's going to be 9-7.
I was just saying. I know it was over 8-8. So okay, 9-7.
No, under. No, 7-9.
7-9?
Yeah, that was my prediction.
I don't remember that. I know.
But after seeing what the other teams in the NFC East are doing, I'm gonna up it one. I'm gonna up it 2. Now I'm gonna say 9-7.
You heard the Eagles fan in
there. Yeah. Hey, the Eagles fan is. I mean, talk about a bird that's on the grill.
Hey, they say they don't have Wentz anymore.
Yeah, we like our Eagles rare, cooked on the griddle.
On the griddle.
Yeah. So
now, where is 9-7 coming from now?
Well, I mean, I'm thinking we're going to beat the Eagles
twice.
I didn't say that.
Okay,
once.
So that's 1.
I think we're going to beat the Giants twice.
That's 3.
I think we're going to beat the Redskins twice.
5.
Okay, so then we got to win 4 more games.
But y'all know who you playing these other 4 games. Y'all even got 70-year-old Brady to play against, don't you, this year?
Yes, we are playing Brady. But we have some other teams that, I'm not really giving them a lot of credit.
Okay. We'll see.
I mean, it's 4 games.
We'll see.
And if we win 5 in the division, then What's that leave us? 9 games? Are we doing a 16 games? Because they just said they're going to start doing 17.
Yeah.
Is that this season? I think so. Okay, 17. So we still have 12 games to win. Well, I guess that would change. It would be 9 and 8.
You still talking about the Cowboys, though?
True. True.
They could be 12 games.
Did you see where LaDainian Tomlinson named his top 10 running backs?
No.
Where do you think Zeke falls in that top 10?
He has to be in the top 10, so I'm going to say.
Well, he's in the top 10, but where in the top 10 do you pick?
Oh, playing now or
No,
ever?
now. This coming season?
Oh, so this coming season.
Top 10.
I can see.
Where do you put Zeke?
I would put Zeke 4th.
Well, that's way better than what he gave.
Where'd he put him?
6th.
What other 2 would be better than Zeke?
Dude, who's number 1?
For me?
Yeah.
That boy in oh God. I can see his face, but I can't say his name. I hate when I get like that.
Well, I'll tell you this.
It makes me feel like I'm old for real.
I'm not a really big NFL fan. I'm a Cowboy fan.
Oh, you're a Cowboy fan.
But
I had to look at you.
I didn't even know the names of the other running backs.
You did?
I was like, I've never heard of that dude.
Wow.
So, I mean, it wasn't anybody big name.
Henry.
I think he was number 2.
Henry would be number 1 for me. This dude is
Could've
6.
been.
He's 6. He's 6 what? 6'2", and all muscle and make
Who's
it.
the dude from Tennessee?
Henry.
Okay, that might have been number 1.
Yeah.
He's
That's my number 1.
I've seen that guy play. He's a stud.
Yeah.
Are you going to be available? Are we going to be able to watch some football this season?
Oh, most definitely.
All right.
Most definitely. Oh, he gave me the list.
You got.
Oh, he got Henry first. Yep.
Okay, then what was number 2?
Dalvin Cook.
Who's he play for?
Minnesota. Christian McCaffrey for the Panthers. I would have had Chubb at 2, Cook at 3.
And you said Zeke
at 4. Alvin Kamara at 5. Yeah. Christian McCaffrey wouldn't have broke my top 5. Aaron Jones, Saquon. I got to see how Saquon going to be after a year being out after that injury.
And his offensive line.
Yep.
He's not Barry Sanders.
No.
If he has a line, I think he's good, especially as a screen pass guy.
Oh, most definitely. Oh, this is a nice list, though.
Was it the top 10 or top 25?
It's 25.
Yeah, I got bored after the 10 and I quit.
Actually going past 25. I guess he's doing the. And see, my thing is, I was watching this. Everybody's talking about Aaron Jones and how fast Aaron Jones was supposed to be. The fastest man in the NFL is Tyreek. Oh yeah. They had he called out Aaron Jones on a race last week on TikTok, and they raced at this camp.
Yeah.
In the first 10 yards, he had 5 yards on Jones.
No, not 5.
5 yards on Jones.
In 10?
In the first 10. This dude is outrageously fast, man. It's and then they got this boy that's coming out of he played, I think it's Purdue. He's a receiver too. He's 5'9", but he got a 42-inch vertical. He ran a 4.29 in the combine too.
Wow.
So they were like, he calling him out. He calling DK, which is the receiver in Seattle, the big guy that's fast. He calling out DK and this young boy. Now I want to see him. I want to see him race that young boy.
I did not know that.
Yes, Tyreek is outrageous. Deion would have a hard time trying to stick him on a straight fly where they just straight
at their peak.
Prime,
right?
At their prime, straight fly, no moves, just straight sprint. Deion would have a problem running with him. Deion ran a 4.3. They say he ran at 4.2. I know Deion has closing speed. We know that when in his prime, he had that closing speed. But this dude got speed in the beginning, the middle, and the end.
So if you're not up with him when he goes by,
you're not gonna catch him,
right?
And it falls on the throw because that one with in the Super Bowl where the dude from Tampa Bay threw the peace sign at him because he did it in the season.
Right.
That was because of the throw was short. Because if Mahomes had laid it out there, he had burnt dude.
Right.
But he had to slow down for the pass, and that's how dude caught up, and then he gonna get up and throw the peace sign in his face. Bruh, you didn't do nothing. It was the throw, and Mahomes was throwing in under duress. Right. If he'd have stood there and did everything and gave it all he got,
it would have been beautiful.
It would have been beautiful because you were burnt.
Right.
You were burnt.
Just because the ending
it came out in your favor,
right,
does not translate
right.
to actually what was happening.
I want to bring up a different sport.
Which one is that?
Track.
Oh, please don't talk about Cigar.
Dude.
Here's my issue with that.
No. You know what? Here's the bottom line. The rules are in place, and she knew the rules.
But she owned up to it.
Right.
She accepted it.
Right.
She didn't say, she didn't give an excuse. She said, I did this. This is the reason why I did it, and I accept my suspension.
Done.
Now, there was a person that tested hot for steroids a week before her, and they blamed it on a burrito. They said it was pork in the burrito. It had to be from the pork. Hold on. That is so minute that they probably would have gave you a second test if it was actually from the pork.
So what happened to that person?
She still got suspended, but it was
the story.
Yeah, the story behind it,
but,
and the translation.
But here's the thing: Richardson was probably the shining light of the Olympics for me. I wanted to see her run more than any other sport in the entire Olympics.
You wanted to see that.
I did.
Yeah.
I was so excited to see what that 5'1" girl could do, because at 5'1", you're not supposed to be fast. Not like that. And she came out and blew the doors off of the entire dude.
And the finals and the trials.
And so I am super disappointed. Now here's the thing. I don't even think they should test for marijuana.
Me neither.
In fact, where she was at when she did it, it was, I think, Oregon, which it's legal there.
Legal.
And so I don't think they're not doing breathalyzer tests on the flight.
Here's the thing.
Where I don't even know where the Olympics are this year. Are they in
Tokyo, Japan, somewhere? Yeah.
So
here's the thing, though. Weed slows you down.
Right, it's not an enhancer.
It's not an enhancer.
It's not an enhancer.
It's a suppressant.
Right, and I don't think
so. Come on now.
I agree with you on that, but even though I don't think it should be on there, for now it is.
It is, yeah.
And I just hope that in the next Olympics, which is just 3 years from now, because we had the COVID pushback. She's still going to be fast in 3 years.
She's going to be faster.
And I hope I get to see her run in the Olympics. Because to me, when you think of all the Olympics, the greats you've seen, I know that she's going to be one.
Oh, yeah.
Now, to me, the all-time ultimate was Bolt.
Oh, okay.
Usain Bolt, that's even better than Carl. It was a whole new level.
It was, but
now that's been broken by a high schooler.
High schooler, yeah.
So now that Richardson's out, that's big
what you'll go to. Yeah,
right.
Got you.
And then you also have, what's the gymnast girl's name? Simone?
Biles.
Yeah. What she does, dude, there's nobody on the planet
ever
that's going to touch what she does.
To the point where the thing she does now, they penalize her because they say if somebody else does it, they're going to get hurt. They're like, no, we got to take points from you because we don't want other people doing that because they'll get hurt doing it.
Yeah, but if we take points from you, maybe they won't.
They won't do it.
Yeah, it's crazy, and people are stealing her routine
and still not doing them.
Well, yeah, because they can't. Just because you see something cool doesn't mean you can do it.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
I grew up watching Van Halen. I was a singer in a rock band. We were not Van Halen.
I aspired for that greatness, but no, didn't make it.
Had a good time, though.
I can believe it. I can believe it. But yeah, man, this Olympics is going to be something else. But I'm with you. 3 years from now, especially her with that hunger and that hurt from not being able to do this
from such a minor downfall.
You talking about motivation?
Yeah,
motivation,
and I can only hope that maybe some dispensary sponsors her
because it'll be legal by the end. She running, she getting her tracksuit. It's just a big leaf on the back.
We're going to change subjects again.
Uh-oh.
Do you know who this guy is that's running for Texas governor named Prather?
No.
Have you heard of him, Jay? No. Okay, so he is like this country guy, always wearing a cowboy hat, usually, and he's sitting in his car and he gives like a 2 or 3 minute rant on something. Uh-huh. And social media, he blew up.
Got you.
Now I see him on TikTok and he's running for governor of Texas. And
what is he talking about, though?
He's talking about all different things. You know, one, freedom. We want freedom. I'm like, yeah, we got that. And then he wants Second Amendment, which in Texas, we got that.
Yeah, that's the Bible.
That ain't
here.
going nowhere.
Nowhere.
And other than that, he ain't talking about shit. So on his TikTok video, I had to say something.
You had to.
I had to. I said, be happy with your 15 minutes of social media fame and go sit back in your car.
Wow. Wow.
Because all his videos are from his car.
Wow.
And I'm like, just because you got famous on social media does not mean you should be a governor. Dude, what's wrong with these people?
So, how do you think about Matthew running?
I would love that.
Yeah, because of he has more substance than this dude you just said. Yeah, I don't know who this dude is.
You know what I like about McConaughey is you can even go back to his acceptance speeches.
Yeah.
He has common sense. Mm-hmm. He's not a showboater. Uh-huh. He is humble.
He's not trying to please nobody.
Right.
Whatever's right is what I'm going to do.
Right. And so, I mean, I'm not a fan of Governor Perry. I'm not. You know, I think that he did some good things, but his overall scorecard with me is not very high.
Uh-huh.
And then you look at the other people running, though, like Beto. No, thank you.
No, he ain't going to get it.
No, he ain't going to get it. Well, he only lost by 2% against Cruz.
But see, the thing is, he may get the Democratic nomination, but as far as getting the position, that's not going to happen.
He only lost by 2% against Cruz.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen because, especially if McConaughey runs.
Here's my thing, and I think now that it's more known that Beto is against your Second Amendment right.
Yeah.
Texas ain't going to go for that.
No.
And I don't care what aspect.
He'd have to come in trying to erase what Abbott did because Abbott gave us open carry.
Which I'm not a fan of.
Me neither. Because
open carry I'm fine with, but because if you're a moron,
you shouldn't have to. That's why I still believe you need to get the license.
I agree. Now that's the part I'm talking about. Yeah. I think you should have to get the license because I know I'm a responsible gun owner.
Yeah.
I know you are because we have license.
Yeah.
But now that you don't have to have one, and
just walk
every
around.
guy who has a gun thinks, "Oh, I'm going to start carrying."
And see, here's the thing about that: when I was a cop, I didn't open carry like that. I kept it concealed in because when people know what you have, your defense is gone.
I want to be a surprise.
Thank you. I'm not going to show it.
Right.
I don't need to show it. It's there for defense. That's it. It's not something. Oh damn, he got what was that gun that Jack Nicholson had on Batman?
Where he pulls it out of his pant leg.
It keeps coming and coming and coming. So what?
Right.
So what? By the time you pull that sucker, I was told this when I first became a cop. Drop beats the draw every time. If I got the drop on you, you can. I don't care about your draw. You dead. You're done.
You can't draw if I shot you in the back of the head.
If I already shot you.
Right.
If I already shot you, you can't draw.
No, I'm not a fan of the new rule coming out.
No.
I think that, and I would say that at least 90% of concealed gun license owners are against it.
Yeah, because, I mean, I just
if you're too lazy or dumb to go pass a class, we don't want you to carry a gun.
And it's not rocket science. It's just about safety. That's what the class is about, safety. So if you can't show me that you're safe with the weapon, you don't need to carry it.
Right. Now, and that does not affect the Second Amendment if you can't carry because
you still own it.
You can have a gun.
Yeah. You just can't walk around there like it's Dodge City.
Right. And that's what we don't want.
Yeah.
So
that's what it's going to go back to. And it's Texas, too. I already seen people walking around with their stuff. I'm like,
let me tell you a secret.
Dude.
Let me tell you a secret you don't know.
What's that?
Oh, you may know. Do you realize that Texas cannot secede from the United States? Okay. Well, there's a lot of people in this state that would argue that.
That believe that.
And they would argue to the death.
And like I told them, I said, if we secede from the Union, we will become New Mexico. Like, what you mean? I said, because Mexico would take this back over. You do not own those jets. You do not own those tanks. They belong to the United States of America. You secede, they will take them back. And then what do you? I said, we saw where a cartel went into a city in Mexico and took the son of the cartel runner away from the government.
Right.
So do you really think if they know, okay, they don't have jets, they don't have tanks, they don't have any of that anymore? Yeah, this is Mexico again.
We do what we do.
We do what we do, and we do. They already shooting across the Rio Grande at folks in Texas. Mm-hmm. They just sitting there in their front yard. Oh, look at that fool. Pow. Come on, man. You shoot back, you going to jail, though.
Right. All right. Well, we're going to end on that note. And hope you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure that if you're interested in our sponsors, look down the show notes. Show notes. Anyway, until next week,
keep smoking.
Boom.